Welcome to the 2022 Small College Basketball National Awards Show. My name is John McCarthy and I'm the founder of Small College Basketball, and what a pleasure and honor it is to be here with you this evening. Thank you to all of you around the country and around the world for tuning in to our National Awards Show this evening. Thank you to all of you who organized watch parties this evening. We're hearing about a lot of teams that have had watch parties this evening for our awards show. Tonight we celebrate our game. We celebrate college basketball at the small college levels. Tonight, we will honor the 2022 national champions. We will honor the Harry Statham Coach of Impact Award winner, the Bevo Francis Award winner, and the Lifetime Achievement Award winner. We will then recognize 4 people and 1 program. At the end of the show, we'll have a special announcement to make. So please stay tuned throughout the entire show. As this is the National Awards Show, I think it's important that we recognize the members of our Small College Basketball National Awards Committee. As such, I'd like to sincerely thank and recognize the following coaches for their time that they spent on this National Awards Committee. Tobin Anderson from St. Thomas Aquinas College, Gary Stewart from Stevenson, Chris Briggs from Georgetown College, Bill Drykosen from Rocky Mountain, Ryan Kane from Ripon, Mark Barakoff from Oklahoma City, Mike Donnelly from Florida Southern, Rhett Soliday from Vanguard, Sam Hargraves from Olivet, Stacy Hollowell from Loyola, Steve Brennan from Babson, Richard Westerland from Great Lakes Christian, Chase Teachman from Florida College, Bart Lundy, formerly from Queens College, Aaron Siebenthal from Ottawa and Kansas, Tay Norwood at Humboldt State, Justin Parnell at Oregon Tech, Mark Vanderslice from USC Aiken, and Grant Leap from Seattle Pacific. Thank you for your time, your research, and your insight on this committee. From the beginning of the creation of small college basketball, we've wanted to provide a positive platform to tell our stories, our history, and to leave a legacy for our game. We've wanted to use this platform as a force for good. We want to shine a light on college basketball, specifically at the small college levels. This is your platform, coaches, players, contributors. This was built for you, to celebrate our game for you. As I flash back to the beginning of the season, the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic and Hall of Fame induction ceremony in St. Joe, Missouri, I had invited my old friend Al Brule from Robert Morris College to come down from Chicago. We wanted to film a piece for a documentary we were working on. While he was there, he was planning on staying for a number of games. He wanted to watch a number of games, some of the teams playing in the Hall of Fame Classic this year. But he got a call and suddenly he said, I need to get back home. And he didn't say why. Later that night, after the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I went and spent a bit of time with Al, and then he told me what happened. That phone call he got while he was in the hotel was to let him know he had throat cancer and need to get back home to get to the doctor. Al Brule's been in bad shape. He's been in and out of the hospital for months now. His cancer's spread. He spent a lot of time with a tube down his throat. He's been really struggling. I've been back and forth with Al quite a bit over the last month or two. I was back and forth with him again today, and I know Al's watching tonight. I want to use this platform, as I mentioned. I want to spread joy, and I hope tonight we're going to be able to give a few moments of joy to Al Brule, who's been watching tonight. Al, I want to let you know we're rooting for you, and I really hope you enjoy the show tonight. At this time, I'd like to make a few announcements. I'd like to announce that there's going to be 3 announcements next week. On Monday, the 18th, we will release the 2021-22 Small College Basketball Season Highlight video. I'd like to thank Stephen Gidley from Indiana Wesleyan College for putting it together. I'd like to thank all those schools, those individuals that sent highlight clips to help us put this together and put together an awesome highlight video. That's going to be released on Monday. Next Wednesday, the 20th, we will release the Hall of Fame class of 2022, the 12 members that will be inducted on November 4th at the Polk Theater in Lakeland, Florida. That'll be coming out on Wednesday. On Friday, we will release the 2022 State of Small College Basketball Address. So it's going to be a big week. Stay tuned, follow us along on our website, on Twitter, on our blog as we push those pieces out. Importantly, I'd like to thank our staff at Small College Basketball. Rick Wagner has been with us since the very beginning. He produces our videos. He's been the show director for each of our Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and he's the show director once again this evening. Matt Ankenbrandt, who I know is watching again this evening, is our sports information director, has been with us for years. He's fantastic, and we're so grateful to have somebody at his caliber. Chris Cottrell started the Small College Basketball Podcast this year. He's our host. He does so much research. He's had great guests. He provides great insight. I'd like to thank Chris Cottrell for all of his work. We're very grateful. Importantly, I'd like to thank all of those that have joined our Small College Basketball Alumni Association. Whether you're an individual member, whether you're a staff member or a lifetime member, we're very grateful. It's for those people who have supported this that help make shows like tonight possible. We're so grateful. At this time, I'd like to read off quickly the lifetime members, those that have joined the Alumni Association as lifetime members that help make a night like tonight possible. In no particular order, however, this happens to read like a who's who of college basketball, I might add. The lifetime members of our Alumni Association are Harry Statham, Jim Poteet, Larry Holly, Jim Nelson, Bill O'Dell, Roy Pickerel, George Tinsley, Jack Sikma, Del Harris, Larry Smith, John Rinka, John Hudson, Jeff Lanham, Greg McAleenan, Danny Miles, Herb McGee, Dave Robbins, Elmore Smith, John Pierce, Abe Gotiner, Sundance Wicks, Ryan Cottingham, Greg Tonigal, Steve Ritter, Kelly Wells, Craig Doty, Matt Lewis, Matt O'Brien, Todd Eisner, Mike Schauer, Chris Corver, Kenny Davis, Bob Hoffman, and Bart Lundy. I'm incredibly grateful to all those people that have had faith in what we're doing at Small College Basketball and have joined as lifetime members. I'd also like to thank our National Committee for our Alumni Association, which includes the chair of the committee, Dr. Jim Poteet, Jeremy Currier, Scott Bittner, Drew Diener, Larry Holly, Mike Schauer, Mark Vanderslice, Justin Parnell, Jason Aker, Tom Smith, Chris McCabe, and Ryan Moody. I realize that many of you that are watching tonight are tuning in to watch one specific award or one specific person. Yet I encourage you to watch the whole show tonight. I hope you take the time to learn about the many great people and the many great accomplishments within our game at the small college levels. Stay with us the whole show. You'll be glad that you did. Now let's start this show by recognizing and honoring the 2022 national champions. In the USCAA Division I, congratulations to Paul Quinn College, who defeated Bryant and Stratton from Buffalo 80-69 in the national championship game. Jamari Redis from Paul Quinn was named the tournament's most valuable player. Again, congratulations to the Tigers of Paul Quinn College and head coach Brandon Espinosa. Congratulations to Baptist Bible from Springfield, Missouri, who defeated Lancaster Bible 77-70 to win the NCCAA Division I National Championship. The Patriots finished with an overall record of 21-3 with a 15-game win streak and the national championship. Congratulations to Coach Darren Minders and the Patriots on their national title in 2022. Let's hear from Coach Minders right now.
This was an exciting season at Baptist Bible College. Following our 2021 ACCA National Championship run last year, we made the decision to move up 2 levels to the NCCAA Division I level in the offseason in order to continue to improve our program. We knew it would be a challenge to compete at the same level, but our guys set a goal at the beginning of the season to win another national title and worked hard day in and day out to make that happen. Our goal was really to challenge our guys early in the season in order to prepare us for a tournament run in March. In November, we traveled to Panama City over Thanksgiving break to take part in the annual Battle at the Beach tournament to play 3 tough NAIA teams. In the first game of the tournament, we played Loyola University out of New Orleans. It was an honor for us to get to share the floor with the eventual NAIA National Championship team. This was a great opportunity for our guys to see what it takes to compete against some of the best players and program in the country at any level. We played 2 other NAIA National Tournament qualifiers that weekend, and then went on to wrap up the first semester by beating an NAIA National Tournament qualifier, Grandview University, in our own Classic. Right after Christmas break, we played in a Classic in Dallas, Texas, and lost the first game in a game that we really felt that we should have won. The next day during our team meeting, we talked to our players and told them that they were in the exact same situation as the previous season. We lost our first game after Christmas when we felt we should have won. The year before, our guys focused and didn't lose a game the rest of the season on their way to an ACCA title. This year's team had the same opportunity in front of them. I think that was a big turning point for this year's team. From that point on, they really just locked in and went out each game and executed the game plan and made big plays in order to win our regional and earn a trip to the NCCA National Tournament on a 12-game winning streak. Going into the national tournament, we knew we'd have to play well to have a chance to win. The first game we faced Southwestern Christian, a really big athletic group with some D2 transfers. My coaching staff, which includes my two sons, as well as Kelly Anderson and Ray Looney, put together a great game plan, and our guys played really well to get the win. In the semifinals, we played the 8 seed in Hannibal LaGrange, who had upset the 1 seed the night before. I challenged what I feel is one of the best defenders in the country at any level in Trey Minton with the assignment of guarding their top player, who had 32 points in the first round. Trey held him to just 4 shot attempts and 0 points when they were matched up. We played pretty well and ended up with a 27-point win. In the championship game, we faced Lancaster out of Pennsylvania. That's a great program who had a tremendous offensive player who is surrounded by great guards and some talented bigs. We came out and grabbed the lead early and refused to give it back throughout the game. Our best players stepped up in the most important moments. As a team, we played really well to get the win. This year, we were led by senior point guard Trey Flowers, who controlled the offense throughout the year and was an extension of the coaching staff on the floor. Deshaun Coleman was another senior that stepped up huge for us the last 2 seasons down the stretch. Deshaun averaged a double-double for the season and was a tough matchup for teams. Junior Trent McBride was a newcomer this year, but quickly became one of our go-to guys. Trent averaged over 20 points a game on his way to being named the most outstanding player in the national tournament. I mentioned Trey Minton earlier, but Trey is the heart and soul of our locker room. Trey came into the year after being named the MVP of the 2021 ACCA National Tournament and dealt with a foot injury for about 2 months in the early part of the season. But with Trey, you know you can count on him when the light shines the brightest. Trey had a tremendous national tournament coming up big when we needed it most, with 19 second-half points in the title game to give him 22 for the game to go along with 13 rebounds. If you had asked our administration when I took over the program 3 years ago if they could envision back-to-back national championships, they would have easily said not a chance. This was a program coming off a 56-game losing streak before I got here. However, we are blessed to recruit some really great kids, not only on the floor, but off, who consistently buy into our program and do the right things in order to be successful. Our players work hard daily and want to compete against the toughest schedule we can find. On top of that, I'm honored to have an administration and president that is 100% behind our players and program. Again, thank you, John, for all you do for small college basketball.
Congratulations to Campbellsville Harrodsburg for defeating Crown College 89-79 to capture the NCCAA Division II National Championship. Antoine Darby was named the most outstanding player and was named first-team All-American in NCCAA Division II. Congratulations to Coach Austin Sparrow and the Pioneers, who finished with a 23-9 record and a 6-game win streak. Let's hear from Coach Austin Sparrow right now.
First off, thank you to Small College Basketball and John McCarthy for putting this together. Amazing award show. We greatly appreciate you allowing us to be a part of it. And thank you to the NCCA for giving us a platform to be able to play and win a national championship. Small College Basketball and John McCarthy, thank you guys for bringing awareness to small college basketball at all levels, NCAA, NCCA, USCA, and NAI. We're greatly appreciative for all of the hard work that you've done over the past couple years to bring more awareness to small college basketball and give us a platform to be able to share everything at the national level. Campbellsville University Harrodsburg has given me a home as the youngest college basketball coach in the country at 25 years of age. We're really blessed with the season that we just had. 23-9 overall record, 10-1 home record, 8-2 neutral site record, NCAA Division II Mid-East Regional Champions, 14-3 at the Division II NCCAA level, NCCAA Division II National Champions, 16-4 across all NCCAA levels, NCAA Division III 3-1 record, and an NAI record of 4-4. The ability of the players at the NCCAA level is oftentimes overlooked. Antoine Darby, some of his accomplishments this year: first team All-Region NCCAA Division II, first team All-American NCCAA Division II, most outstanding player at the national tournament, 1,000-point scorer, and now Campbellsville University Harrodsburg's all-time leading scorer. Being a pioneer means you're willing to lead while others may follow, but the path is uncharted. Everything that we have done here at Campbellsville University Harrodsburg in the past 3 to 5 years has been uncharted territories. Thank you to our athletic director, Dalton Christopher, our sports information, Austin Gears. They have put in a lot of hard work over the past several years, traveling with the team, taking care of the team needs as we continue to elevate our championship level and elevate our program. We're super excited about everybody who's celebrated the national tournament over the past several weeks and the national championship win. We had several watch parties for the national championship game. We had several people travel to Joplin, Missouri for the national championship game and support us. And as a young university, only 5 years established, we're super excited about continuing to develop our fan base and continuing to build our school and the support that our school receives. Several of our players come to Campbellsville University Harrodsburg seeking life change, seeking a basketball and an opportunity to be able to play basketball. And our school has done an excellent job of helping mold these young men. Our program has done an excellent job. Our assistant coaches have done an excellent job helping mold these young men into successful society members. Lead by example is everything in our program. Being able to step into faith with our players and share our faith with our players means a whole lot to our entire program and our entire school. 3 years ago, this program we were looking to change things. We were looking to improve things. We were looking to build upon what the guys before us had established and create a successful program, not just on the court, but off the court as well. Bringing in the next group of pioneers, there's nothing more that we could ask for is just each of them over the next couple of years just being each other's brother's keeper and continuing what this team built for the next couple of years.
Congratulations to Loyola from New Orleans, who defeated Talladega 71-56 to capture the NAI National Championship. Miles Burns from Loyola was named as the tournament's most valuable player. Overall, Loyola finished with a 37-1 record, and Coach Stacy Hollowell led the Wolfpack to their first national championship since 1945. The Wolfpack won their games in the NAI tournament by an average of 20 points per game. Let's hear from Coach Stacy Hollowell.
So this year we started our season with a mask mandate in the city of New Orleans, and we were unsure of whether or not we were even going to be able to practice. And then on August 29th, Hurricane Ida hit the city of New Orleans. A couple days later, I saw a video with a student had filmed the roof blowing off of our gym. And 4 days after that, we got back into the city and saw the damage that had happened. It had rained in our gym pretty significantly, and we were curious as to whether or not we were even going to be able to have a season. My athletic director, Brett Simpson, and I discussed maybe taking the team to do a training camp and just to get away for a couple of weeks. And so we went to Dallas and we practiced at the Mark Cuban Center for 10 days. And the university called us back to go to class, and as we returned, we realized we had no place to practice or play. And so other schools in the city pitched in, Xavier and Delgado, and when Tulane came back on campus, they helped us out, gave us a place where we could play games. But the uncertainty was certainly something we needed to overcome. We showed up one morning and there were no goals in the gym. We were getting up super early for practices, and times the gym was locked. And our guys they had a goal and stuck with it. We've got midway through the season, and we got hit with the COVID bug pretty good. Fortunately, at that time, the only games we lost were exhibition games. But we had some cancellations that had to be made up at the end of our season. In February, we finished with 12 games in 23 days. This is not an ideal stretch, but our guys got through that and came out undefeated in that stretch. And we finished with 3 games in 4 days on the road, traveling to Alabama, back to North Mississippi, and back to Alabama before we came home and got prepared for the conference tournament. Won the conference tournament and headed to the national tournament. We opened in Kansas City with the Sweet 16 game, and that night I had an interview, a Zoom interview, and I turned my ringer off on my phone, and I woke up to text messages from guys that had reached out at 2:30 in the morning that were in the emergency room with food poisoning. And we found out the following morning our starting point guard also had food poisoning, and limped through our Elite Eight game without our starting point guard, and just were able to overcome adversity all along the way and all throughout the season. And it's a tribute to our guys. Winning the national championship is obviously something super special, but to do it in the way that these guys did, to be as resilient as they were, is just a testament to the kind of guys that we had on this team. And so super proud of them, super proud to be their coach, and super proud to be a national champion.
Congratulations to Randolph-Macon, who defeated Elmhurst 75-45 to capture the NCAA Division III National Championship. Buzz Anthony was named the most outstanding player and was named D3 Hoops National Player of the Year. Congratulations to Coach Josh Merkel and the Yellow Jackets, who finished the season with a 33-1 overall record in the NCAA Division III National Championship. Let's hear from Coach Josh Merkel.
Hey, Josh Merkel, Randolph-Macon head coach. Here to thank John McCarthy Small College Basketball for the work that he and their community are doing, for shining the spotlight on our teams and on our athletes. Just truly grateful, and speak for the many athletes and coaches. Just grateful for you and your work. As far as our team, we asked the guys going into the NCAA tournament, would you guys, do you just want to be crowned champions right now, or do you want to go through this journey? And as many people have talked about, it's the journey that makes things special and sweet, and no different for our group and what we've been through. And you have to go back a couple years to 2020. Our group was 28-2 and playing in the Sweet 16, and then COVID hits and certainly impacted our world, our communities, and on a smaller, maybe a micro level, our teams, our athletes. And the hero's journey, is not as sweet without the adversity along the way. They say that nobody wants to read the story of Hercules without all the trials that he went through. That's what makes the story unique and cool to learn about. And so for us, I believe that adversity, it really built some resilience and some grit in our young man. We talked about coming out of this time better than when we went in. We talked about so what, now what? And we talked about grow through it, don't just go through it. And I think our guys, our success was reflected in their character, their approach, and I'm truly grateful for our guys and that approach. From our fifth-year seniors, Buzz Anthony, David Funderburg, to the guys that did not get a chance. Like I mentioned, that team whose season was cut short. We had seniors like Corey Turner, Corey Bays, Kent Kilgro, and then even last year, 12-0, but Division III, no chance to play postseason, or at least on the national level and have that national tournament. So Lorenzo Woods, whose season was cut short. So we did it for those guys, and also truly grateful. We feel like everyone who came before us that really has shown us the way and shown us the standard. I'm talking about the coaches and the players that have been knocking on the door to that greatness, that have mentored us and shown us a way. We're truly grateful for all those that had a hand in this, who have added value to our group. We know that no great thing is ever done alone, and we're grateful for all the people that have come before us and really helped our journey as well. So in closing, just John, again, thankful to you, to Small College Basketball, for shining a light. For us, we always say our guys feel like they're playing at Duke or UNC. It doesn't feel any different. We never look down on the level that we're playing, and you continue to inspire us to continue to keep on working and do bigger and better things. So thanks to everyone involved.
Congratulations to Northwest Missouri State, who defeated Augusta 67-58 to win the NCAA Division II National Championship. Trevor Hudgens was named the most outstanding player of the Elite Eight and was named as back-to-back NABC National Player of the Year. Congratulations to head coach Ben McCullum and the Bearcats, who finished 34-5 and have now become the first team in the history of NCAA Division II basketball to win 3 consecutive national championships. Let's hear from Coach Ben McCullum.
This season was completely different than the previous couple, where we had come in obviously and had lost an all-conference kid, and I think from the outside looking in, the expectations might have been a little bit lower. The good thing is we have really tough kids and kids that wanted to perform and kids that wanted to prove that they could continue the winning tradition, obviously, and being able to get back to that national championship game and being able to win it. I thought they did prove that our culture is exceptional, and the kids within our program is as good as it gets. So it was a special year. It was great to coach the kids that I coached. It was great to coach tough kids, and very thankful for this season. The team was just full of kids that wanted to prove people wrong. They were full of tough kids that had some experience but didn't necessarily have that experience in those kind of roles. And they wanted to make sure that they proved that they could do that. Towards the end of the season, we had lost 2 home games in a row. At that point, it was gut check time, and the people in our program decided it was time to really turn it on and be who we were going to be. And I thought those next 2 games we played well enough to win, and then going into that conference tournament, we really hit our stride, and it was all because of the kids in our program, and especially our 2 guards leading the way. Northwest Missouri State is one of the best college towns in Division II. It's got the true campus feel to it. We always say it's like a mini high major school where you get student support, you get community support. People really care about your results. They care about the kids in your program, and it makes it a special place to play and to coach and to compete and to recruit kids too. When we first got the job, our biggest thing was to make sure that we got the right people at every single position, specifically the personnel. We felt like we've done that throughout, and we felt like we kept that first and foremost, that you're only as good as the players that you coach. And we feel like we have really good players, really tough kids, and kids of integrity, and it makes it, again, very, very fun to coach. You know, winning the Division II National Championship is fun. When you actually win it and get to cut down the nets, you kind of think that's supposed to be a little bit more euphoric of a feeling. It's more you really look back at the season and all that it took to get there, the process piece, all the tough workouts, all the morning workouts, all the all the fights that you have, not necessarily real fights, but fights that you have to really get guys to compete, and all those memories is what you think about when you win that national championship. Thanks again to Small College Basketball. You do so much for all small schools in the country, and kids that want to be at this level and want a chance to win championships and compete at one of the highest level there is. Your support and your highlighting of what we do really helps push small college basketball to the forefront, and especially for Northwest Missouri State. keeping us at the top at all levels for the most part in regards to people paying attention and people really enjoying our program.
I'd like to talk for a moment about the namesake of the Harry Statham Coach of Impact Award, Coach Harry Statham himself. Many of you know the numbers. They're staggering. 1,122 wins as the head coach of McKendree. The first coach in the history of college basketball to win 1,000 games. His 1,122 wins and 1,635 games coached were the most in the history of college basketball at the time he finished his career in 2018. He has the awards and the recognition. Coach Statham has been named the NAIA Illinois Basketball Coaches Men's Basketball Coach of the Year 12 times. And in 1987, he was inducted into their Hall of Fame. In 1998, Statham's career accomplishments and achievements were recognized with his induction into the NAIA Hall of Fame. Statham has received the AMC Coach of the Year 8 different times, and 6 times was the recipient of the NAIA District 20 Coach of the Year. He was selected as the 2001 and 2 NAIA Men's Basketball National Coach of the Year. In 2005, Coach Statham was recognized by the NABC with the Guardians of the Game Leadership Award, an honor bestowed by his peers. That same summer, the United States Sports Academy presented him with the Distinguished Service Award, awarded annually to individuals who have made outstanding contributions to national or international sports through education, research, and service. In 2006, the Lebanon City Council honored Coach Statham by renaming a roadway on the McKendree campus Harry Statham Way. The university's gymnasium, the Harry Statham Sports Center, is also named for him. Recently, Coach Statham has been named as the first member of the class of 2022 of the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame. He will be inducted on November 4th at the Polk Theater in Lakeland, Florida. His accomplishments are staggering, yet he's really revered in college basketball, not just for his wins and his awards, but because of his character, integrity, and his humble demeanor. He is truly the gentleman of college basketball. Several months ago, I had the honor of attending a gathering of former McKendree players who gathered to honor their coach. It was an extreme honor when Coach Statham asked me to speak. You should have seen it. You should have heard the stories that day. These former players, now in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, they just poured their hearts out, talking about the impact that their coach made on their lives. It was a wonderfully emotional day, and it was obvious that they just loved their coach. While each one had a personal story or message, I remember Paul Funkhauser, former All-American from McKendree, mentioning something that he learned by watching and observing Coach Statham, not only during his time as a player, but as a longtime assistant coach and now longtime friend of Coach Statham. Paul Funkhauser spent a lot of time with Coach Statham, and he said something that has stuck with me. And it had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with his character and Coach Statham as a human being. He talked about marriage. And here's what he said that day. Paul Funkhauser said he watched how he treated his wife Rose. And here's what he learned. He said, when you get married, you take care of that woman. You be faithful to that woman. And you love that woman. Man, the power of the example. Coach Statham's example. A coach of impact. Let me tell you a little bit about this award that is named in his honor, the Harry Statham Coach of Impact Award. The purpose of the award is to honor a coach that has used the power of the coaching platform to make a positive impact on players, coaches, and others. The coach will be a person of high character and integrity who has served as an excellent role model and who has deeply impacted the lives of others. The annual winner of the Harry Statham Coach of Impact Award must have coached at the small college level for a majority of his career and must have a high degree of personal character and integrity. The coach may be a current or former coach, but will honor a living coach annually. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my true honor to introduce the gentleman of college basketball, Coach Harry Statham, the first coach in the history of college basketball to win 1,000 games. Coach Statham, take it away.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. Good evening, everyone. This is another wonderful weekend for small college basketball. We honor these special award winners. John McCarthy has done and continues to do a fantastic job with his organization. I first met John at the NAIA National Tournament back several years ago in Kansas City, and he was introduced as a director for the tournament, as a new post there. He was new on the scene. He was everywhere. Things ran like clockwork. John loved it, and I said, we're going to see John again soon. Of course, he founded this organization, and it's incredible what he's doing. About 4 years ago, he created this Coach of Impact Award. It honors a coach who is making a positive impact on the players, on the game, and on society. I spent over 70 years as a player and coach in the game and seen a lot of great things happen on the court and in life. Unfortunately, in recent years, there's so much pressure to win that key words like integrity and character sometimes are ignored. We coaches must use our influence to turn this thing around. It's impossible to overemphasize integrity, reputation, and character. Hopefully this award will help coaches remember how much impact and influence they have, especially on their players. This 2022 Coach of Impact Award goes to Steve Ritter of Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach, Florida. In 88, 89, Embry-Riddle started a basketball program. They had 0 wins the first year. Coach Ritter came along. His first year, he was 4-24. Second year, 22-8. That's an NAIA turnaround record. He never looked back. He's had an amazing career, numerous honors and awards, and tonight just a few of them for this program. 740 wins. He took his team to the NAIA National Tournament 17 times. In 2019, he won the NAIA National Championship. He was Coach of the Year. He earned one of the highest distinctions in basketball coaching, NABC Guardians of the Game Award for leadership. He's been Coach of the Year 8 times, received 5 Hall of Fame awards, including the NAIA Hall of Fame Award. He served as athletic director for 20 years, and he was named the NAIA Director of the Year in 2006. He's the architect of the unique Embry-Riddle athletic philosophy of student, person, player. That's quite a deal. There's a scholarship every year. It's awarded to an athlete that best presents that philosophy. Now this season, he won 24 games. He advanced Division II Sweet 16, and he was also a speaker at the Final Four NABC Clinic. Another great year. On a personal note, in 2012, we took a southern trip. We played 4 games in Florida. Our last game was against Embry-Riddle. I'd never met Coach, but certainly had a lot of great things about him. He's a wonderful host, We spend a lot of time together talking about basketball, postseason play, NAIA. Coach Ritter is a terrific guy, a tremendous coach of impact, and a wonderful role model for our coaches. I am very happy to honor Coach Steve Ritter as a coach of impact and call him my friend. Coach Ritter. Let's get this thing right now, please. Thank you so much, big guy. Are we good? Okay. Just about away here. It's awesome. I'm going to read yours. Good luck. Okay, all right.
Thank you, Coach. I would like to start by thanking John McCarthy and Small College Basketball. John, thank you for making the extra effort to getting Vicki and I here on an airplane with about an hour's time to get ready, and then we get to fly out around 4:30 tomorrow morning. People, and we're very grateful. People think because we're Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University that I just jump out of my office and jump on my own airplane. That is not the case. What we actually worry about, because 1 out of every 4 commercial pilots are Embry-Riddle grads, and this happened a couple months ago when we came around the corner. It was one of our former players was the pilot, which you think that's exciting, which it is. However, this was the kid off the national championship team that didn't get much playing time. We were very nervous if revenge was in his mindset. Thank God it was not. So thank you, John, and thanks for what you're doing with Small College Basketball. It's absolutely amazing. Coach, this morning at around 4:30, I hope you don't think I'm weird, but I had to Google Coach Harry Statham. What an absolute story. I had all the numbers memorized as such. They are staggering. It's crazy. 1-1, 2-2 victories, 52 years, 44 as a director of athletics. So I kept getting into the numbers. I'm like, this I'm a young pup. I'm not even halfway there and any of that stuff. And so spending the last 20 minutes with you, it's already been worth the trip. But what I really enjoyed discovering this morning are probably validating what you really are all about. And I know if you read our stuff, you probably think we stole some of your things, because as you shared today, and I watched the video, we went out and got kids who wanted to get a great education. We wanted to go out and get kids that were good boys, that wanted to play hard, and we wanted some talent. That's what we try to do. We call it the package. Great students, great people, great players, that's the package. So I don't think we copied it from you, but I know we're on the same page there. But what I watched and looked this morning, what I loved most, you summed it all up and you said, you know what this thing's all about, this coaching thing? And I was on the edge of my seat because I'm like, come on, I know what it is. Are we on it? And you said, relationships. And that does my heart good. And that's why this particular award means as much as any award I've ever gotten, because you are and have been the model for us in this profession. You did it the right way. You were the very best, and I don't even think there's a close second. So I am honored, because I think our programs, or at least our goal, would be to simulate what your program was at McKendree and how you coached. Here's what I wanted to share with you in my few minutes. At age 21, my wife and I got married. We went to a school called Berea College. Look it up. It's one of the greatest. No one pays tuition. You had to be really smart. You had to be really poor. My wife, Vicki, was really smart. I was really poor. That's why they let us in there. Long story short, from age 21 to 29, my wife and I was chief accountant, assistant basketball, head baseball, taught racquetball, Pell Grant verification, went to grad school, had 2 kids, but guess what we got to do? Go back and live in the dorm from age 21 to 29, because we had about $200 to our name and they let us live free there. So throughout the night, we were taking care of 400 kids that lived above us, and they were really known for breaking the rules once in a while. we paid our dues. And so now we've been blessed to be at Embry-Riddle for 32 years. And here's what we've learned. At age 21, when I was asked to give my first speaking engagement, scared to death, to an upward bound group, I came up with something that I still have used for 40 plus years. I hope you can relate to it, because it is all about leadership, isn't it? It's really this impact thing, and the coach, it's all about leadership. I'm not saying I've arrived, but at least I have some direction. L, you got to love this stuff every single day. E, you got to bring some enthusiasm. A, you got to have a great attitude even when you are 0-19 in that 4-24. I might add, out of the 4 wins, 2 were Florida Bible, the other 2 were forfeits. I went to the mailbox, somebody had forfeited. I'm like, yeah, the next day, somebody else had forfeited. That's 4. I kept going back to the mailbox. I was thinking we're going to have a 20-win season on forfeits. You got to have a great attitude when it's not there. D, discipline. I know you're all about discipline. E, set the right example, not perfect. R, earn respect. S, be a servant leader. Serve others. That's what this profession is all about, serving. Leaders. H, be humble. Don't be telling everybody how good you are. Let everybody else tell you how good you are. I, integrity, which is right at the top for you. And P, take some pride. I haven't arrived with all those every day. It's just a standard that I put up there. And I shoot for every day. And sometimes I really fall below. But at least it gives me some direction. Last thing. A lot of gifts out there. Gift of listening skills, cheerful disposition, compassion. What I've learned in my lifetime, and especially with some things that have occurred in our life, is the most important gift of life, and that's called the gift of perspective. We love winning championships. We love making a difference in young people's lives. But at the end of the day, we really care about others. And I'm blessed to be here tonight. It's been a quick trip, but already it has been so worth it. I am honored to have anything associated with you and your name. And I'm appreciative of the recognition and just glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was freaking great. Great job, Coach Ritter. That was phenomenal. I want to talk a little bit about the Bevo Francis Award. Clarence Bevo Francis. The award is presented annually to the player who's had the finest overall season within small college basketball. Considerations are season statistics, individual achievements, awards, personal character, and team achievements. This is an incredibly prestigious award, as will be given to one player annually. In today's college basketball landscape, there's approximately 13,000 to 16,000 total players playing at the small college level in men's basketball, between Division II, Division III, the NAIA, the USCAA, and the NCCAA. On January 15th, we put out a watch list of 100 players. Then on February 15th, we limited that list to 50 players. March 15th, it was 25 players. And then in between games of the NCAA Division I Final Four, we put out the video of the 9 finalists. At halftime of the national championship game, we put out the video announcing the winner. I'd like to tip my cap to anybody that was on those lists. If you think about 100 players out of 13,000 to 16,000 players, you're in some pretty elite company right there. When we get down to the finalists, we had 9 finalists this year, 3 from Division III, 3 from Division II, 3 from the NAIA. I'd like to tip my cap and honor those. Those 9 finalists this year for the Bevo Francis Award are Alex Gross from Olivet Nazarene, Buzz Anthony from Randolph-Macon, Jack Davidson from Wabash, Joel Scott from Black Hills State, Miles Burns from Loyola, Ryan Terrell from Yeshiva, Sekou Silla from Nova Southeastern, Trevor Hudgens from Northwest Missouri State, and Zach Reitzel from Loyola. I tip my cap and offer sincere congratulations to all 9 finalists. As I mentioned at halftime of the NCAA Division I National Championship game, we announced that the winner of the 2022 Bevo Francis Award is Trevor Hudgens from Northwest Missouri State. He joins a wonderful line. This is the 6th winner of the award. The first award in 2016 went to Dominez Burnett from Davenport. He was followed by Justin Pitts from Northwest Missouri State, then Emmanuel Terry from Lincoln Memorial, followed by Aston Francis from Wheaton, followed by Kyle Mangus at Indiana Wesleyan. We'll talk about Trevor a little bit more in a moment and his remarkable season and accomplishments. Yet I'd like to take just a few moments to talk about Bevo himself. I learned about Bevo Francis when I was a sophomore in high school in Northeast Ohio. I took a recruiting trip to Rio Grande. Let me rephrase that. I went with a senior that could really play when I was a sophomore and tug along on the trip. We went to the original Bob Evans farm right across the street. And I remember this specifically. Coach John Lawhorn was the coach at that time. We sat there at the table and he told the story of the great Bevo Francis. It was almost hard to believe. It was almost a fairy tale. The 6'9" country player that ended up averaging 50 a game. Their team goes 39-0. The next year, they becomes the most famous player in the world, literally. They end up beating Wake Forest, defending ACC champions in Miami and so on. He averaged 50 a game for a couple years, scored over 3,200 points in 2 seasons, scored 116 in a game. They put in a rule, made it effective retroactively, took away his record, so the next year scored 113 in a game. It was unbelievable. Well, without telling the entire story, let me turn to the video now to tell a little bit about the Bevo Francis story, which will be followed immediately by a message from Athletic Director Jeff Lanham at Rio Grande and the University President at Rio Grande, Ryan Smith. Let's turn to the video right now. Turn that up so people hear it. It'd be great. Fascinating story. In partnership with the University of Rio Grande, Small College Basketball is proud to announce the winner of the 2022 Bevo Francis Award, Trevor Hudgens from Northwest Missouri State. Trevor Hudgens is a 6-foot senior guard from Northwest Missouri State that led the Bearcats to a 34-5 record in the NCAA Division II National Championship. Northwest Missouri State won the MIAA regular season and tournament championships and won the Central Region Championship. For the season, Hudgens averaged 23 points and 4.2 assists while shooting 48% from the field, 41% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line. During this season, Hudgens broke the school scoring record, and in his final game, he broke the MIAA's all-time scoring record, finishing with 2,829 career points. He also broke the school's all-time assist record, finishing with 700. We'll pull up that video in just a moment. You want me to go ahead and dive into what? About Trevor? Yes. All righty. So I'm going to enjoy talking about this one for a moment. As I just mentioned, Trevor Hudgens is the winner of the 2022 Bevo Francis Award. The video will certainly tell you a bit about his story and about his statistics and awards and so on this year. But let me tell you a little bit about Trevor, a little bit more than you're going to see on the video. I've watched him closely for all 4 years of his career. Frankly, his first 2 games as a collegiate player were in our Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. I'd estimate that I've watched about 3/4 of his games through his entire career. Let me tell you what I've observed. He's the same person today in terms of his ability to be humble as he was in that first game, despite the unbelievable attention that he's had over his 4 years. The words that I would use to describe Trevor Hudgens are humble, kind, and gracious. On the video, you'll hear about his scoring records. He broke the school scoring record this year at Northwest Missouri State, and he broke the assist record at Northwest Missouri State. And he broke the MIAA all-time scoring record. And by the way, the MIAA has now been around for 110 years, since 1910. He broke the MIAA tournament scoring record as well. He broke the school's all-time three-point record for a game. By the way, he hit 11 in a game 3 times this season. He broke the season record for three-pointers made this season with 168, and he broke the all-time career record at Northwest Missouri State with three-pointers made as well. His 168 made threes this year are the most ever in NCAA history in a season. Yet, as I got to learn a lot more about Trevor over the number of years, Here's something that it came to become quite obvious getting to know him and watching so closely. I've told you about the awards or the records he's broken. Trevor Hudgens doesn't care about scoring. He doesn't care about his statistics. What he does care about is winning and his teammates. Here's something to take into consideration. Trevor Hudgens played 139 games in his career. This is a season award, but this is worth noting. He never missed a game. He started 139 games. Northwest Missouri State won 131 games, playing 139 games in his career. He never lost an NCAA tournament game, going 17-0 in the NCAA tournament, winning 3 national championships. Yes, I realize it's a 4-year career, with the NCAA canceling due to COVID during his junior year. As a little side note there, they were 30-something-1 for the season and were ranked number 1 in the country heading into the tournament. With all the attention to stop him, his poise, his composure is just remarkable. He just dictates the tempo of the game. He's in control. And his understanding of the game, frankly, from a coach's standpoint, it's just beautiful to watch. I've got this vision in my head, though, about Trevor, and it's this. All the accolades, the numbers, the records broken, etc., and I'm picturing that national semifinal game this year. They beat Black Hills State. They shake their hands. He's running off the court. And as he's running in the locker room, just before they're about ready to play a national championship game, he turns around as a little boy standing at the corner with his pen and paper out. Trevor Hudgens does a quick U-turn to come back. Simple gesture, but this is just typical Trevor. It didn't matter whether they're heading into the national championship game or not. As soon as that boy won an autograph, he did a U-turn and signs that autograph for that little boy. Humble, kind, and gracious. As good of a basketball player as he is humble, kind, and gracious. I do want to make a point before we turn back to the video about Bevo in just a moment here. Trevor, we almost always do this live in terms of the presentation with the Bevo Francis Award. We've done it each year in person. We did it this year in person already. Trevor would have been here tonight, except he's the first Division II player to get invited directly from Division II to the Portsmouth Invitational, the NBA pre-draft camp, directly from Division II. He's literally playing a game tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time in Portsmouth tonight, and that's why he's not here tonight. They already played their first game 2 nights ago. They won. He played very well, as a little side note, but that's the only reason he's not here. We did already present the award to him. You'll see the video. Let's turn the video of Bevo Francis. Is that right? Okay, we're going to watch the video about Bevo. Please pay attention to this story. This is fascinating. One of the great stories in the history of college basketball. We had a quick video about Bevo, followed by the athletic director, Jeff Lanham, and the president, Rio Grande. Take it away.
Maybe once in a lifetime, a story comes along.
It couldn't happen. I don't believe it, yet I know because I lived it.
A story so vivid, yet imperfect enough to be the stuff that legends are made of.
We had 38 boys in a whole college. But we had 8 people that could play the game of basketball.
This is the story of the Rio Grande Redmen. They roared from the hill country of southeast Ohio, their college about to go broke. Yet this team did more than just stand college basketball on its ear.
That was a Hillsdale picture. That was a night Bevo scored 113 points.
On February 2nd, 1954, Rio Grande played the Michigan team in a sold-out high school gym in Jackson, Ohio. It was the closest the Redmen had to a home game that season, and from the opening tip-off, Bevo Francis scored almost every time he touched the ball.
Seemed like everything in the shot, it felt good. Every shot felt good, and they were dropping.
Players from both teams raced up and down the court in a fast-paced game that was energized by the cheering crowd. Bevo Francis hit from everywhere on the court.
He had that running jump shot, and then he had underneath the basket that sweeping hook that he would put it in from about 8-10 feet away. Everything went in.
Soon, the crowd realized that Bevo Francis was on pace to break his own national scoring record. At the half, he had 43 points.
The pedal was to the metal. He was hitting everything he shot, and I told him at the halftime, I said, this is a night he gets his record back.
In the third quarter, Hillsdale's players were swarming around Francis, several fouling out of the game as they tried everything to keep Francis from scoring. It made little difference. Francis scored 31 more points.
Every time he got the ball, there were 3 guys on him.
Francis broke free, rose into the air, and released the ball. It rarely missed.
The more the game went on, the better I got.
In the final quarter, Bevo was averaging 2 points every 30 seconds.
He was in his zone.
Like I said, like a drop kick that went in.
Bevo scored 39 points in the fourth quarter. The Redmen won 134-91, and Bevo Francis finished with 113 points.
We averaged more than 100 points a game. Bevo Francis was averaging more than 50 by himself.
The Redmen captured the hearts and imagination of an entire nation. A fiery coach named Newt, a tall, skinny country boy people called Bevo, and a team that refused to surrender.
This is a story that needs to live on for generations and generations to come.
The Redmen didn't just play to win. They played to save their school. They didn't know it then, but they may have also saved the game of college basketball. They could really play the game.
I would first like to thank John McCarthy for having the vision years ago of the Bevo Francis Award. I believe that as we look back through our lives, we know when we've been around someone famous. And with that, we can tell you the day and the time when you first heard about this individual or first met this individual. I grew up in Rio Grande, Ohio. I was 9 years old. I can tell you who I was with, what was going on, what day it was, the day that I met Bevo Francis, the legend that small college basketball. Well, today we are here to celebrate 2022 Small College Basketball Player of the Year. Trevor, congratulations. What a fantastic year you had. I wanted to go on and tell a little bit about Bevo and about what goes on in this award and why we have called it the Bevo Francis Award. So Bevo arrived here on campus in 1952. That first year, Bevo averaged over 50 points a game, scored 113 in one game, and the Rio Grande finished 39-0. And just give you a little bit of this to think about how this happened. How does a team score 134 points in a game and nobody scores double digits? Well, when you think about it, Bevo was 10 minutes to play. Bevo had 74 points. That's 10 minutes to play. He's had 74 points. Coach Newt Oliver calls timeout, says we are going to Bevo for the rest of the game. Nobody else touches the ball. Bevo proceeds to score 39 points in 10 minutes to finish that game with 113, which was the record in college basketball for 58 years. Bevo always said that that record would be broken because of the three-point line. And yes, it was. The three-point line is what happened that gave chances for everyone to break this record. And it was done. But here was the thing with Bevo. Bevo was a very humble gentleman. Every time you ever ask him about his games, you ever ask him about how well he played, never failed. He said, I could not have done this without my teammates. Every time mentioned those. Bevo was with us for 32 years of our Bevo Francis tournament. He spoke every year. Every year he made that same statement. I could have not done any of this without my teammates. And we hear that, Trevor, with you as well, that you are liked by your teammates and your teammates enjoy playing with you. And you're in the same boat. You could not have these great feats without teammates with you. So with that being said, I want us all to understand that if you believe in something and you really feel and believe in something, that it can be done. And that's what happened with Bevo Francis. And we want to continue this, telling everyone about what happened in college basketball in the 50s, and remember that legend, Bevo Francis, and continue to tell somebody about it. Thank you very much.
Hi, Trevor. I'm Ryan Smith, president of the University of Rio Grande. I just wanted to say congratulations on winning the prestigious Bevo Francis Award. Sounds like you've had an amazing season and even more unbelievable career. So congratulations on that. That's just fantastic.
In partnership with the University of Rio Grande, Small College Basketball is proud to announce the winner of the 2022 Bevo Francis Award, Trevor Hudgens from Northwest Missouri State. Trevor Hudgens is a 6-foot senior guard from Northwest Missouri State that led the Bearcats to a 34-5 record in the NCAA Division II National Championship. Northwest Missouri State won the MIAA regular season and tournament championships and won the Central Region Championship. For the season, Hudgens averaged 23 points and 4.2 assists while shooting 48% from the field, 41% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line. During this season, Hudgens broke the school scoring record, and in his final game, he broke the MIAA's all-time scoring record, finishing with 2,829 career points. He also broke the school's all-time assist record, finishing with 700 assists. In this year's MIAA tournament, he broke the all-time career scoring record in MIAA tournament history. Additionally, he broke the game, season, and career records for three-pointers made, hitting 11 threes in a game, and he did it 3 times this season, while he connected on an astonishing 168 threes for the season and 435 for his career. His 168 threes this season have now set the all-time single-season record in the history of NCAA Division II basketball. Hudgens was named the MIAA Player of the Year, the MIAA Tournament MVP, the Central Region Tournament MVP, the Elite Eight MVP, and the NABC's Division II National Player of the Year. While the Bevo Francis Award is a season award, not a career award, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that over his 4-year career, Trevor Hudgens never missed a game, started every game of his career, and won an astonishing 131 out of 139 games played while at Northwest Missouri State. He was the MIAA Player of the Year for 3 straight years, the back-to-back NABC National Player of the Year, and he never lost a game in the NCAA tournament, going 17-0 and leading the Bearcats to 3 consecutive national championships, which is the first time in NCAA Division II history that a team has won 3 straight Division II national championships. Congratulations to Trevor Hudgens, the 2022 Bevo Francis Award winner. On behalf of the University of Rio Grande and Small College Basketball, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2022 Bevo Francis Award to Trevor Hudgens from Northwest Missouri State.
First off, I want to just say glory to God. It's great just to be here and have everyone here. Second, I want to say thank you to my family, coaching staff, managers, training staff, and the community of Maryville and Northwest for being a tremendous part of this award that I'm accepting today. When doing some research on the great Bevo Francis, I was humbled to get an award named after him, knowing some fun facts he accomplished in a short span of 2 years, becoming one of the greats in small college basketball and historically around the world. For those who might not know what accomplishments he had, well, he led his team to a 39-0 record, averaging 50 points. He also had a game where he scored 116 points, 55 of those points coming in the last 10 minutes of that game. When hearing stats like that, you have to be amazed on what he did. It's just an honor to have my name mentioned with his. With that being addressed, I would also like to say I wouldn't be able to be the person or player I am today without my family and coaching staff at Northwest. A lot of time, people get so caught up with individual awards and overlook the process that got that individual there. I never overlooked my process and wanted to thank the people that were a part of the process. First, my family, especially my mother and father, for all the AAU trips, traveling 2 hours from Kansas City, from Manhattan, so I could have a chance to even get looked at to play college basketball. Second, the coaching staff, especially Coach Mack, for believing in me when other coaches said I wasn't good enough to play college basketball, for still picking up his phone when I didn't and sometimes still don't. My amazing teammates, not only because they're great players, but better people and even better friends. We were able to accomplish something this year that many people thought we weren't able to do. And to all the people in between, Joe Q, our strength coach, Jake, our training staff, and Landon and Sam for being the best managers on this planet. I can't say thank you enough for an incredible year. I wouldn't be standing here today accepting this award without any of the people I previously mentioned. I'm extremely thankful for everything they have done this year. I'm excited and humbled to accept this award from Mr. John McCarthy and the Small College Basketball Committee. Thank you.
Well, welcome back. As we dive into the Lifetime Achievement Award winner, I'd like to introduce Dr. Jim Poteet, who is going to introduce our Lifetime Achievement Award winner this evening. Dr. Poteet is the chair of the Small College Basketball Alumni Association. He also happens to be a member of the NAIA Hall of Fame. I'd like to introduce to you my friend, Dr. Jim Poteet. There you go. Take it away.
It's my privilege tonight to introduce the 2022 Small College Basketball Lifetime Achievement winner. Larry Holly has been an achiever his entire life. Born in 1945 in Missouri, he was an honor graduate from Jameson High School, where he was involved in basketball, an all-state player, in track, a miler, in music, a trumpet player and vocalist, in poetry reading, as well as graduating the valedictorian of his class. He entered William Jewell College, where he graduated in 1967. He lettered 4 times each in basketball, cross country, and track. He also played in the concert and pep band and sang in the chapel choir all 4 years. He was a teammate in basketball with Homer Drew of NCAA Division I fame and the father of Scott Drew, the coach of Baylor University and the NCAA 2021 national champions. After graduation, Holly entered the teaching and coaching field, spending 1 year as a high school coach and 48 years as a college head coach. He retired at the end of the 2018-19 season after 40 years as the head coach of his alma mater, William Jewell. His record of 918 wins and 577 losses ranks 10th on the list of wins for 4-year college coaches, and he is now the winningest college coach in the history of the state of Missouri. I'm pleased tonight to present to you your Small College Basketball 2022 Lifetime Achievement recipient, Mr. Larry Holly.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Coach Poteet. Those are special words from a Hall of Fame coach. After that introduction, I can hardly wait to hear what I have to say. I'm told I need to squeeze my 30-minute speech into 4 to 6 minutes, so here goes. I share this honor with my father, who was a coach and school administrator. I was always in the gym with him and his players, and my love for the game grew from there. And thanks to my biggest and loudest fan, my mother. It was actually her side of the family that had the basketball talent. Her older sister, Bobby, once scored 102 points in a single game. Yes, 102. Bobby's oldest son played at the University of Missouri. I had a cousin who set the single-game scoring record at Northwest Missouri State University, and a cousin who played on Culver Stockton's NAIA national team. Several of my cousins became successful high school basketball coaches, so at family gatherings, basketball was always a topic. I owe so much to so many and could never name all those who played a part in whatever success I have had in my playing and coaching career. My high school coach, Tom McDaniel, guided our team at Jameson to a 33-1 record and a third-place finish in the state tournament my senior year. My college coach, Jim Nelson, led the William Jewell Cardinals to 3 conference titles in my 4 years. My first year of coaching was at Harrisburg, Missouri High School. There I coached 91 games. Let me repeat that. 91 games my first year with no assistant coach. I coached the varsity, JV, and junior high girls. I coached the varsity, JV, and junior high boys. It was a busy time. I spent my remaining 50 years of coaching at the small college level, 6 years at Central Methodist, 4 at Northwest Missouri, 2 as the head coach, and 40 years at my alma mater, William Jewell, where again, I had no full-time assistant coach until my last 3 years. But it was my good fortune to have 34 of the best part-time and volunteer assistants I could ever hope for, led by 19-year assistant Lee Carricker, himself a Hall of Fame coach. I could not have survived without their knowledge, their selfless dedication, and love of the game. I can assure you I learned as much from them as they did from me. To recap a bit, I've coached at the NAIA Division I and II levels and at the NCAA Division II level. I coached against 6 different levels of competition: NCAA Divisions I, II, and III, NAIA Division I and II, and the NCCAA level. In fact, in the 2004-05 season, we defeated opponents from all 6 of those levels. I'm not aware of any other school that has done that in a single season. I've always been a numbers guy and had fun researching and tallying some of these things. I coached over 1,400 games at the small college level. I coached against 37 different opponents in my 6 years at Central Methodist, 21 different opponents in my 2 years as a head coach at Northwest Missouri State, and in my 40 years at William Jewell, we faced 194 different schools. My sincere thank yous also to go to the school administrators who took a chance on me. In fact, I was in my 14th season as a head coach at the college level before my win-loss record percentage got above 500. And most of all, I thank the hundreds of student athletes who overcame my coaching to win those 918 games. 107 of those players went into the coaching profession. It's a joy to follow them and their families through phone calls and emails and texts and Facebook and Zoom calls. Yes, I know how to do all of those. COVID created many challenges for coaches, teachers, businesses, and especially for those who lost friends and family members. For me as a retiree, it gave me the opportunity and time to do something I always talked about and was encouraged to do, that is to write a book. The book isn't all about basketball, nor is it an autobiography, nor a memoir. It's simply stories about my life and people in my life who contributed to my development. I thank my friends and mentors who have supported me throughout the years. And most of all, I thank my family who has ridden this roller coaster ride with me. To Ann, my wife of 31 years, who passed away in 2006. She did a marvelous job raising our 3 daughters while I spent many hours away from home coaching, scouting, and recruiting. My daughter Lauren and her husband Josh are here tonight. And my youngest daughter Lacey is here while her husband Brett is babysitting. My oldest daughter Lindsay and her husband Michael live in Nixon, Missouri, and have 2 teenagers whose activities that didn't allow them to be here tonight, but I know they are tuning in. A special thank you to my amazing wife Linda, who is here tonight, and who stepped into a very different lifestyle over 13 years ago. She is a retired school teacher. She taught art. I'm sure my friends knew I needed some culture in my life. She and her 2 daughters and their families have blended quite well with my family. We now have 5 daughters, 9 grandchildren, 8 are girls, and 1 great-granddaughter with another expected in June. She has been a blessing in my life, and my friends know I've outkicked my coverage twice. Let me add my congratulations to the individuals and teams who have been honored tonight. I had the challenge of coaching against Coach Poteet, Coach Lamar, Coach Ritter, Coach McCollum, and Coach Statham. The rivalry between Mid-American Nazarene, coached by Rocky Lamar, and William Jewell was, in my opinion, one of the best in the history of the NAIA. And William Jewell was, a few years ago, Coach Statham at McKendree University, and I set a record for 2 coaches coaching against each other with the most combined wins. Sadly, that record was later broken by a couple of guys by the name of Krzyzewski and Boeheim. I watched Trevor Huggins play at the AAU level in the spring and summer before his senior year. What he, his teammates, Coach McCollum, and his staff have accomplished at Northwest Missouri State may never be matched. And thanks to Coach McCollum, the NCAA Division National Tournament has become the Northwest Missouri State Invitational. Congratulations. I really appreciate Chris McCabe, who followed me as a coach at William Jewell, and his top assistant, Christian Hildebrandt, who was my top assistant my final year at Jewell, for being here tonight and for the great job they're doing with the Cardinals. I can summarize by simply saying I'm a small guy from a small town. Jameson's population was 175 when I lived there. From a small school, there were 10 in my graduating class. I'm going to say it. I was in the upper 10%. I played at a small college, coached at a small high school, and at 3 small colleges. Thank you, John McCarthy, for all you have done and continue to do for small college basketball. You are amazing. You have made sure there is nothing small about small college basketball. And thank you to the committee who selected me for this special award. I'm honored to join NAI Hall of Famer Larry Lady in receiving this award. I'm very fond of saying every day is a great day to be a Cardinal. Well, today I say every day is a great day to be associated with small college basketball. Thank you very much.
That was awesome. Great job. Wow, that was fantastic. Great job, Coach Holly. Congratulations, our 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Coach Larry Holly. Tonight, we're going to recognize 4 people and 1 team. Each has a unique story, and each have contributed to our game in their own special way. I'd like to start with longtime Mid-American Nazarene coach Rocky Lamar. Before this season, Coach Lamar announced that he would retire at the end of this season, and today he is now officially retired. I'd like to take a moment to recognize his remarkable career. Upon his retirement, at the end of the season, Coach Lamar was the winningest active coach in the NAIA, finishing his career with 803 wins. He's been named the Conference Coach of the Year 7 times. He led the Pioneers to 13 conference championships. He's been invited to the NAIA tournament 19 times. They finished second in the NCCAA national tournament in 97 and 98. Mid-American Nazarene reached the NAIA Final Four in 2001, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2014, and 2016, and won it all. Won the NAIA Division II National Championship in 2007. He coached 36 NAIA All-Americans. Beyond the numbers, however, I've known Coach Lamar for a little while now, but I found a couple quotes from him that I'd like to share with you this evening that tell a little bit more of the story. He said, "Everybody talks about the 800 wins, and I don't even like to mention it. You know, it's just another number. In fact, I told somebody the other day, 799 would be cool. The number isn't what's important. What's important is the impact you have on kids' lives." The other quote I saw was this. He said, "This is a dream job to me. I don't go to work. I go to coach kids. I get to teach them the game I love, and I get to teach them about Christ. I couldn't have drawn it out any better. It's been heaven on earth. I'll miss this place." Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Coach Rocky Lamar. There you go. All right, they're here to see you, not me.
First of all, thank you, John, for that wonderful introduction and for small college basketball and what it means to all of us. And when John called me and told me I needed to speak, I said, what in the world? I just as soon not talk about myself. It's tough for me to do. How can I talk about a career that has felt like the time of my life? I fell in love with basketball when I was in the 8th grade. I had a coach, Coach Bill Fleming, who taught me how to play and eventually how to coach. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to play basketball at MANC. That's what it was called back in the day. I had a coach at MNU named Ron Hill who gave me all kinds of freedom and let me play without worrying about mistakes, kind of the way I hope that my kids play. I will be forever grateful to him that he showed me how you could be a great player and still serve Christ. Mank was not a successful basketball program when I moved to Olathe to attend college as a player. We were only a little bit above 500 the 2.5 years that I was there, so I didn't make them a ton better. The most important thing that happened to me as a student at Mid-America Nazarene College was I found the love of my life, Rhonda Joanne Stark, who has been the greatest assistant coach, wife, and mother a man could ever hope to have. Our marriage was blessed with a son, Chaz, a daughter, Sarah. Our son, Chaz, is now married to Jamie, my sweet daughter-in-law. They are the parents of 3 great-grandchildren, Jared, Gina, and Jonas. Upon my graduation from college at Mid-America, I coached high school basketball in Iowa for 10 years. I am very grateful to former MNU president, Dr. Don Owens, who took a chance on hiring me, a high school coach who honestly had no desire to coach on the collegiate level. He always calls me his coach and tells me the most important thing he did in his time at MNU was to hire me as the head coach. I asked him the other day if he still would have hired me if he thought I was going to lose over 40 games. Everybody talks about 803. Well, 400 kicks in the teeth came as well. I can't believe how quickly these 36 years have flown by. It seems like only yesterday that I moved a 6-foot 2-inch guard, Paul Cunningham, into the post at MNU, and he led us to our first season over 500. The school was so excited. He had a point guard who was great at getting him the ball exactly when he needed it, Kevin Richardson. I can't believe my first American, Bob Hennig, is over 50 years old. We only had him 1 season, but he helped us to win our first conference title and our first venture into the postseason. That is also the year that Bill Elliott came to MNU and made it cool for Olathe and local players to go to school there. Bill set the national record for threes made in his career. He was an All-American and helped get us to our first national tournament where we finished in the Elite Eight, the first year that the NAI had gone to 2 divisions. Peter Martin came to us from New Zealand. He was on that 1991-92 team, and John mentioned earlier about Trevor being at the Portsmouth Invitational. Peter also got an invite to the Portsmouth Invitational. He was an All-American who scored over 50 points 5 times in his career and had 1 game where he scored 79. Pete was a great player, but I am even more proud of the public servant he has become. Pete is a police officer, and you know how difficult it is to be a police officer in today's world. Trent Cole was a point guard on both Bob and Pete's team, and he was truly the first point guard to drink the Kool-Aid, if you guys know what I mean, which was defend, rebound, value the ball, and run like your hair is on fire. Trent graduated in 1992, and another point guard followed him and became my second 4-year starter at the point. Pete Carr led 2 teams to conference championships and to 2 national tournaments. He still holds the NAI record for steals, and I'm not sure he couldn't still play for us today. He is an unbelievable leader in his community and has 3 boys who hopefully MNU can recruit to continue their father's legacy. Pete graduated in 1996 after being named All-American, and he was followed by Aaron Harris at the point. Are you catching a little bit of the drift here? Mid-America, over these 16 years, really became point guard U. Aaron was also an All-American, 2 conference titles, 2 national tournament appearances, and he is still playing and coaching professionally in France. Both Pete and Aaron got to play with the all-time leading scorer and rebounder at the school, Darren Meyer. At 6'10", could run the floor like a gazelle and was a great rebounder and shot blocker. He also was an All-American. It's pretty easy to win 800 games when you have all these All-Americans. Darren and Aaron played with Dan Peterson, who was a 2-time All-American and finished his career as the second leading scorer in the school's history. Matt Keeley from Great Bend was our next great point guard, and that became possible only because Jimmy Williams proved how unselfish he was and how all of my players have been unselfish by moving over to the 2 guard, which made us a great team. Jimmy is still proving how he can coach. by being my only player to coach at the NCAA Division I level, where he's been very successful at Furman University. Back to Matt. Matt led us to a runner-up finish in the national tournament and was smart enough to get the ball to two more All-Americans in Adam Oots and Dan Fleming. Dan set the record that year for points scored in the national tournament, finishing with over 2,000 points in his career. Matt was a two-time All-American and is now the college coach at Ottawa University, Arizona, where he led his team to the national tournament for the first time. Adam Hepker was our next four-year starter at the point. Adam led us to 4 national tournaments, 3 Final Fours, including our national title in 2007. Adam was the most outstanding player at the tournament in his junior year when we won the title. Adam was my first 3-time All-American. Adam was a great leader and was very good at getting the ball to the right person at the right time. Sometimes that was him. It helped that he had an unbelievable post player in Danny Hawkins. Danny led us to 4 Final Fours and was a sophomore when we won the title in 2007. In 2009, when we moved to Division I NAIA, Danny said the only difference in how we're going to finish is in the venue. If it had not gotten hurt in the semifinal game, I'm not sure we wouldn't have won the title our first year there. Our next 4-year start at the guard was Rustin Dowd. Led us to 2 national tournaments. He also was smart enough as a junior to move over to the 2 guard and allow another All-American, Nick Sarai, to join us. Nick led us to 4 national tournaments and to 2 Final Fours. Nick, like all of the other point guards ahead of him, was smart enough to get the ball to our best scorers. And if he was supposed to be the one scoring, then he did. In his junior year, he got it to Luke Thomas and Connor Langer. In his senior year, he got it to Justin Randall and Jonas Page. Nick was a 2-time All-American. Luke Thomas was an All-American who got almost 500 rebounds in his senior year alone. Justin Randall was a 2-time All-American as well. Finally, Trey Brown was our last point guard to get us to the national tournament, but COVID stopped that run in 2020. I was blessed over the years to have great assistant coaches who were great at getting the best out of kids while remaining in the shadows. None of them cared about getting the credit for anything we did. All they wanted to do was help me to grow great Christian young men who happened to be very good players. Don Bell was the first assistant. He helped me make the transition from high school coaching to college coaching. Steve Peterson is one of the most amazing Christians I've ever met. Steve was the head coach at MNU before I got the job. He came on board right when Darren arrived, and we never won less than 20 the entire time he coached with me. My high school coach, Bill Fleming, started breaking down tape for us at the national tournament in 2000 and continued in that role until I hired him full-time in 2005. Matt Keeley came on board in 2009-10 and was my head assistant until he got the full-time job at Ottawa University, Arizona. In 2017, Matt was with me in the Final Four runs of 2013-14, 2015-16. He understood MNU basketball and how serving Christ was much more important than winning games. Nate Lanas followed in Matt's footsteps and was with us until this year and helped us to get to the tournament in 2020. The most important hire I have ever had at MNU was done this year when I talked Adam Hepker into coming back and being my assistant, a role he had filled for 5 years earlier when we went to the Final Four in 2014. Adam had been with Matt in Ottawa, and I am thrilled that he is the new head coach at MNU. I know I've rambled on for a while, but everyone I've talked about here made my job at MNU not a job, but rather an opportunity to introduce players to my personal Savior and to help them find their own way to Christ. I loved coaching at the small college level, and to do it at the greatest institution in the United States has been an added blessing. I hope that I have taught kids how to give others, how to teach others, how to love Christ, how to love their families, and how to love other people. MNU has given me so much more than I can ever give back to the institution. And I want to thank them and John for this wonderful opportunity.
Wow, what a fun night. That was fantastic. Thank you, Coach Lamar, for being here with us tonight. Thank you for sharing that. What a powerful piece. At the beginning of this season, coaching legend Herb Magee announced that he would retire at the end of this season as well. Coach Magee has spent 54 seasons as the head coach of his alma mater, where he was and he is among the all-time greatest players in school history, scoring 2,235 points and being named two-time All-American and drafted by the Boston Celtics. The school was initially called Philadelphia Textile, then became Philadelphia University, and now is known as Jefferson University, but the one constant over 54 years has been Coach Herb Magee. Coach Magee just finished his career as the all-time wins leader in the history of college basketball at the small college level and the second winningest coach in the history of men's basketball in America. He had an astounding 1,144 wins and just 450 losses, winning over 71% of his games over 54 years. In just his third season, Coach Magee led Philadelphia Textile at that time to the College Division 1970 National Championship. He's been inducted into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia University Sports Hall of Fame, the West Catholic High School Hall of Fame, where he played, and ultimately was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Coach Herb Magee, a true coaching legend on a historical career. Let's turn to the video now and hear from Coach Herb Magee.
First thing I'd like to do is to congratulate all the other award winners, especially Ben McCollum at Northwestern Missouri State. Way back, we won the national championship one time, but to win it 3 times is absolutely unbelievable, especially 3 times in a row. So congratulations to you, Ben. Great, great job. Now, my journey in basketball started when I was a young guy in West Philly, Pennsylvania, growing up. All I wanted to do was play basketball at West Catholic High School, one of the most prestigious schools and top basketball programs in the city. And I made the team because then, if you make the team at West Catholic, you're considered a player. You go to the playgrounds in West Philly, hey, that's Herb Magee, he plays for West Catholic. So that was a big, big thing for me. My teammates at the time, Jim Lynam, who played and coached at St. Joe's, Jim Boyle, who played and coached at St. Joe's, Jim Lynam, who coached in the NBA for a number of years, has since retired, and Jim Boyle, who has passed. 2 great guys, 2 great teammates. And we won the Catholic League Championship. They were recruited at St. Joe's. I wanted to go to St. Joe's, but I decided to go to Philadelphia Textile Institute. Now, Philadelphia Textile Institute was a school of about 350 students, coached by a wonderful guy by the name of Bucky Harris. And he brought me along, made me into a player. When I was ready to graduate, I said to him, Coach, I would like to coach. And he said, I'll get back to you tomorrow, and you come back the next day with a job. I was going to be the JV coach, the assistant varsity coach. I was going to coach the tennis team, the cross-country team. I didn't care as long as they put me in coaching. 3 years later, he retired. I took over the program, and I've been here ever since. This past year, my last year, was my 55th year. Actually, 54 of them actually coaching because of COVID last year. My 54th year as the head coach. And in that time, we've amassed a number of wins and championships, conference championships, etc. So it's been a great thrill and a great ride for me. I've had great players. And people ask me all the time, how are you so successful? And I tell them because I'm a great judge of character. And not only character in basketball players, but in the guys I've had become my assistants over the years. Some of these guys have gone on after coaching with me, because you do not get paid here as an assistant coach. They have gone on to do great things. 2 of the coaches in the Big Five, Steve Donahue at the University of Pennsylvania, Billy Lang at St. Joe's, both started their careers with me. Dick Delaney, who finished his career at Westchester as the all-time winningest coach in Westchester history. Mike Ruan at Bridgeport, the all-time winner in wins at Bridgeport. I could go on and on. Chuck Hammond at Goldie Beacom, Jesse Bowser at Chestnut Hill, a number of guys. My current assistant, who's going to be my head coach, our head coach next year, Jim Riley. he's going to be the head coach. He was my assistant for 15 years. So it's been a great ride for me. I've enjoyed every second of it. I know I will miss it next year when practice starts. The rest of the stuff I'm not going to miss. But practice I enjoyed. I think all coaches would agree with me that practice is what they really love to do. So that being said, thank you again for this honor. I'm looking forward to watching it, and I hope everybody has a great evening. Congratulations to all the award winners, and congratulations, John McCarthy, for running the Small College Basketball Championships and all of them. Thank you.
Yeshiva University is an Orthodox Jewish school located in New York, New York. They've been educating students for over 134 years now. But what the men's basketball program has done over the last 3 years has been unprecedented, and it's bonded the Jewish community around the world. During the 1920 season, the Maccabees lost their first game and then won 29 consecutive games, including a bid to the NCAA Division III tournament, which was only the second time they've ever made the NCAA Division III tournament. After 2 rounds, winning both games, the tournament was canceled. The following year, in an abbreviated season, the Maccabees won all 7 games, running their win streak to 36 games in a row. To start the 2021-22 season, Yeshiva won their first 14 games, running their win streak to an incredible 50 consecutive wins, which is the second longest win streak in the history of NCAA Division III basketball. The team, led by NABC National Player of the Year Ryan Terrell, captured the imagination not only of the Jewish community around the world, but of basketball fans throughout the world, regardless of religious affiliation. The combination of the nation's longest win streak, the uniqueness of the Orthodox Jewish University, a first-class broadcast, I might add, they're phenomenal, great job on Max Live, and a worldwide following brought unprecedented attention to NCAA Division III basketball and small college basketball. On a personal note, while Yeshiva garnered such worldwide attention, the players and the whole team were under a microscope. It was an absolute refreshing experience to witness the character that team displayed, that all of the players displayed. To watch the players hustle over and pick up the opponents off the floor. Over and over, they're asked for autographs, for pictures. It was just refreshing to watch the sportsmanship that we talk about, that we teach, in action. It was beautiful. I wanted the whole world to watch Ryan Terrell as he competed like crazy out on the court, smiling during games, helping guys up from the other team, encouraging his teammates, signing autographs, and when the game's over, not just getting in the handshake line, but hugging the guys on the other team. I wanted to show the world that this is how it's supposed to be done. This is what's right about sports. So, for the 50-game win streak, the worldwide attention brought to college basketball at the NCAA Division III and small college levels, and for making us so proud, for the way that you played the game, I honor you, recognize you, and I thank you. Let's hear from Yeshiva head coach Elliot Steinmetz.
2021 was an interesting season in many ways. Coming out of the pandemic and moving into some semblance of a normal college basketball season was probably a highlight, not just for our program, but for most around the country. From a basketball perspective, the growth of our program was tremendous. The culmination of a 50-game winning streak that spanned 3 seasons for us was proof and shows exactly the continuity that we're trying to build at Yeshiva. Obviously, winning a conference championship and going to the NCAA tournament was great as well, but the national and international attention and the way our story moved not just the greater Jewish community, but the basketball community as well, has been not just motivating, but inspiring. I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you who have supported us, criticized us, doubted us, and believed in us. All of you are what makes college basketball and competition exactly what it is. Great and fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Steinmetz. I'd like to introduce now and talk about Coach Jim Calhoun, where most people know him about his time in Storrs, Connecticut as the head coach of the UConn Huskies. He led them with UConn to 7 Big East tournament titles, 4 Final Fours, 3 NCAA Division I national championships, and ultimately became one of the most famous and popular coaches in college basketball history. With his team's 2011 title, the 68-year-old Coach Calhoun became the oldest coach to win an NCAA Division I national championship. He won his 800th game in 2009 and finished his Division I career with 873 wins, ranking 11th all-time as of February 2019. In 2005, he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Yet many people don't realize that Coach Calhoun's roots are in small college basketball. He started his career as a small college player at AIC, American International College in the Northeast. He became a terrific player there. As he started coaching after high school for a few years, he ended up coaching at Northeastern. But what some people forget, when he started coaching at Northeastern, Northeastern was a member of the college division, which is now NCAA Division II. Obviously, they eventually became Division I. Coach Calhoun moved on to UConn. Later, though, in 2018, 5 years after he had retired from UConn, Coach Calhoun was named as the first head coach ever in the University of St. Joseph's history in Hartford, Connecticut. In their first ever season of competition, his team went 16-12, and during their second season ever, they went 26-3 with a 25-game win streak and reached the NCAA Division III tournament. Then this past November 18th, his team started off 3-0, and Coach Calhoun announced his retirement, finishing his illustrious career with a record of 920 and 397. I spent a good amount of time talking to Coach Calhoun in recent times. He's a basketball junkie. He's a lifer. He's impacted so many lives. And with his stature in the basketball community, he's brought tremendous attention to the game of basketball at the NCAA Division III level and the small college basketball levels. He started out as a small college guy, and he finished as a small college guy. For the lives you've impacted, the impact you've had on our game, I congratulate you, Coach Calhoun, and I thank you, Coach Calhoun. Let's turn our attention to the screen for a message from Coach Calhoun.
Hi, Jim Calhoun here, coach, college division player and coach, and a guy who truly appreciated where I came from. And very simply, for a guy who got 50 years of coaching at all different levels and started out, very honestly, at a small school as a player, then went on to coach in high school, and then back to Northeastern University. Just jumping back for a second, I really loved playing at AIC. It was a great experience for me to, after working for 2 years because my dad had died, had to help support the family, help the family. We played the best teams in New England at that time. We played Providence, we played Boston University, Boston College, etc. Beat a couple of those teams too, by the way. But most importantly, basketball is basketball. Games are games, and teammates are teammates. And the brotherhood I formed with the guys I had in college vision was special. I think the bonus of going to American International, coaching at Northeastern, and eventually at St. Joe's, which I returned to after 26 years at UConn, was the fact that, like Cheers says, everybody knows your name. And I knew everybody's name, and I think that small kind of David versus Goliath is a great thing to have. It's motivation. And once again, we wanted to win as bad as anybody. We wanted to compete as much as anybody. We wanted to train as much as anybody. Yet in turn, we're guys that truly understood what the game was all about. We kind of played as a true student athlete. And I just think that I had the great opportunity to coach at college division, play at college division, and then as I rounded out my career after 50 years, I was coaching here at St. Joe's, which I absolutely love. I mean, to watch our kids grow as men, as players, as students, it's been an incredible experience. So I guess I would be a personal one-man show, along with others, I'm sure, about the great benefits of playing at a small college. Once again, there was nothing small about it. It was only great.
Welcome back. Thank you, Coach Calhoun. Every now and then a story hits you, gets you in the gut. And this is going to be easily the hardest part of the night. I want to talk to you about the Justin Hardy story. It got me. For those of you here that don't know the story, you're about to see something that's It's so real, and it's so human, it's so relatable. It's so sad and heart-wrenching, yet in some way it's actually uplifting and inspirational. I don't know Justin Hardy. I haven't met him. I haven't met his parents at this point. I followed his story very closely. I've watched video after video. I've talked with his coach, Pat Yuckham. I've tried to learn about Justin the person. I've learned that Justin's brilliant. He attends one of America's finest universities in Washington U in St. Louis. He's a really good basketball player. Just as an example, in high school, he was three-year team captain, averaged 20 points, 7.7 rebounds, 4.1 assists, three-time All-Conference, Upstate 8 Player of the Year, two-time All-State, two-time Kane County Chronicle Player of the Year. Guy could play. 6'5", big, strong, 235 coming into college. Big, strong player, really good. Goes to Wash U. He's the Rookie of the Year in the whole league. Averages 14 points, over 5 rebounds, 3 assists as a freshman. As a sophomore, continues to improve. I've heard teammates say that he was destined to be an All-American at Wash U. He averaged over 14 and 7 rebounds as a sophomore. His junior year was canceled due to COVID. And then April 2021 happened, 1 year ago from now. Justin had a pain in his stomach, went to his doctor, and found out he had cancer while he was in college. Had stomach cancer. Stage 4. There's no cure. There's no cure for stage 4 stomach cancer. And Justin's still in college. Rather than me finish the story, ESPN has done a couple masterpieces on Justin Hardy here recently. I encourage everybody here, everybody watching at home, to pull those up on YouTube. Pull up Justin Hardy from Wash U on YouTube. They're masterpieces, although it's heart-wrenching to watch. Since we're in the middle of a live YouTube presentation here, and ESPN was kind enough to put those on YouTube, I'd like to show you part of this piece. I asked Coach Yuckham to talk about what it was like to coach Justin Hardy through this season. I don't want to spoil it or let the story tell itself. And I asked Coach Mark Edwards, legendary coach who recently retired at Wash U, to speak about Justin Hardy. He's the one who recruited Justin to Wash U out of high school. Here's the story. For those of you that are on this side, if you'd like to watch this, we'll turn up the volume a little bit more in this room. This is a touching piece. This is heart-wrenching. And I don't think I can do it quite justice enough. So let's turn it over to the video. If you want to watch this, seriously, this is unbelievable, heart-wrenching stuff. Have you seen it?
In 2018, Justin Hardy arrived at Washington University in St. Louis, a perennial Division III basketball power.
This is a 215-pound machine. When I watch video of our team from 2 years ago, he just stands out.
He was the Rookie of the Year. He played like one of the best players in the country, and he was for sure going to be an All-American, no doubt about it in my mind.
But during Hardy's sophomore year in 2020, Washington's season was cut short by COVID. Then his junior season was canceled altogether. Last April, in the best shape of his life, he awoke to a searing pain in his stomach. Doctors discovered a perforated ulcer, performed surgery, and then discovered something else.
They felt very strong that they had observed signs of cancer. I was sure they were wrong. It just couldn't. I just figured they made a mistake and pathology would show that it was something different.
Doctor came in and she goes, I got the pathology results back. You do in fact have cancer. I'm sorry, this is probably the worst day of your life.
The initial prognosis that he received was likelihood of 12 to 18 months after diagnosis for survivorship.
There is no cure for stage 4 stomach cancer right now. and I'm being put into this game that I have, in theory, zero chance of winning. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Beginning last June, Hardy underwent a grueling protocol of radiation and chemo treatments to battle the stage 4 cancer. In only a few months, those treatments had reduced the once 215-pound basketball machine to as little as 165 pounds.
He looked like a shell of himself. He couldn't move. He was weak. His voice was weak, and it just wasn't the same Justin.
We're our best version of ourselves when he's with us. Our hope is that he could just be here physically for his senior year. I didn't think there was a basketball future for him.
In every basketball game I've ever played, right? I'm not sure I've ever stepped on the court where I thought I was gonna lose. This was a game I was getting into that I didn't think I could win.
You cannot be average today, and you should be bloody. You should be scraped up, okay? You should have holes in your jersey like Hardy does. Puts holes in every jersey that he has. You should just lay it on the line.
This is me living my life regardless of the circumstances. If this isn't beating it, I don't know what is.
As the cancer began to spread, Hardy's condition worsened. He was unable to eat solid food, and his weight and strength plummeted.
I called him up and I blatantly asked, I said, "Is this?" And I kind of paused, and he finished my sentence for me. He said, "The beginning of the end," and I was like, "Yeah," and he said yes. He knows his body, and he knows that the cancer is getting more aggressive.
I can't control the spread of the cancer inside of me, and that portion, is gonna do what it does, and it might be further away than I think it is, but it's definitely closer than I want it to be.
By the time Wash U's February 26th senior day arrived, Hardy couldn't walk without pain, the result of profound swelling from his hips to his ankles.
Justin Hardy. Justin Hardy has been a source of inspiration for the Wash U community on and off the court. As a senior, Justin has played in 20 games with 18 starts and leads the team with 6 points.
Love you.
I had asked him, "Do you think you're gonna go in?" He's like, "I'll put on a jersey, but I'm not gonna play. Like, I don't want the pity, sympathy play."
With 37 seconds remaining and Wash U comfortably ahead of the University of Chicago, 500 fans got what they wanted. They got Justin Hardy.
Justin Hardy checks in with a big smile on his face. And I'm sure there's some misty eyes along the way, including yours truly.
And Hardy, so weak he could barely shoot, got a standing ovation and respect.
Hardy with 12 on the shot clock. Hardy jumps up, layup is good, and Hopkins letting Hardy have a basket to enjoy on senior day. Thank you, Bryce Hopkins. Wash U wins, but more importantly, everybody hugging Justin Hardy in support of his life-threatening battle with stomach cancer.
Appreciate you, man. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
It would be the final shot of Justin Hardy's Washington University career. The Bears advanced to the Division III NCAA tournament, but were eliminated in the second round. Hardy, a first-team all-conference selection, was unable to dress for either game.
It did feel like the closing of a chapter, which there's some mourning that goes along with that. That's been my biggest fear moving forward now, is what do we do without basketball?
Why did you do this?
It's what I love. I can't give up on the things that I love doing just because you hit a little adversity. And that's how I'm gonna live the rest of my life. You write your story, from opening cover to the very last page. This disease cannot take that away from you. Go out there and defy the odds. Rewrite how to live with cancer. You're going to do some incredible things.
Justin Hardy, quite a story. You know, I first encountered Justin Hardy in 2018 when he was in high school. That summer, my assistant coach came back and said, "Coach, I found the guy that is just perfect for Washington University. He's a competitor, he's great in the classroom, and he's a natural leader." And so began our recruitment of Justin Hardy from St. Charles, Illinois. And he came down and visited eventually, and it was love at first sight. You know, he had all the attributes that the players that go through our program have demonstrated that have had success. He was somebody that appreciated the education, appreciated the people that were around him, appreciated the tradition that Washington University stood for, and knew and understood what kind of an education he could get here.
I had the great pleasure of walking into WashU and having Justin Hardy in my first class as a freshman. The thing that stands out about Justin is, I noticed right away, is in practices as a freshman, whatever team he was on, and it didn't really matter who was with him, his team tended to win. You know, Justin's a fierce competitor, and it was very noticeable right from the beginning that he was not your typical freshman, not only physically, but his understanding of the game, his competitiveness level, his passion were very evident from the very beginning. And Justin has been a mainstay in our program really from day one, and his impact was felt on the floor and off the floor.
And I got to sit in the stands and watch him play, but I saw all kinds of things out there. I saw that commitment and determination to win. I saw him lead players. I saw him take games in his own hands. And then I saw him humble after the game and going around and thanking people for coming and sharing his excitement of what basketball does for him.
Getting back to the week that we learned of his diagnosis, he just was at, I thought, the top of his game. And as that week played out, it took a dramatic turn, and ended up in the hospital, and a few days later the diagnosis. And ever since then, one thing's been very clear with Justin is he's just been relentlessly positive. He's been in control as best he can of this situation, and he's continued to impact so many others. And I think the platform that he has, and if there's a silver lining to really difficult circumstances, but how many others have been inspired by his story and the story of perseverance and positivity and the courage and will that Justin Hardy and Hardy Strong represents.
And throughout his career, he never disappointed. He never disappointed his coaches. He never disappointed his teammates. He never disappointed his university or the people in the stands that cheered him and his teammates on. That's what Justin Hardy is. Determination to win and succeed. Determination to live. But more importantly, he brings one more layer to it. A strong determination to make an impact. And that's what he's doing now. So Justin, we're with you, and thank you.
The Hardy Strong phrase is something that will always be a big part of the WashU program, and it's just a blessing to have Justin Hardy be part of the Bears.
Today, some religions are recognizing Good Friday today. If you're a religious person, please pray for Justin Hardy. If you're not, think of Justin. Just wish him well. As many of you know that are watching and that are here tonight, it's pretty rare that I'm at a loss for words, but may God bless you, Justin Hardy. For the rest of us, let's all stay Hardy strong, as they say. Now I'm supposed to transition into our special announcement at the end of this, but I'll tell you, it's tough after watching that again. I've seen that multiple times. I've seen the first piece they did on ESPN, and I suppose it's tough to transition from that to about anything, but God bless you, Justin Hardy. This coming week, as a quick reminder, we'll release the 2021 season highlight video on Monday. On Wednesday, we'll announce the Hall of Fame class of 2022, and on Friday, we'll release the State of Small College Basketball address. Please check our social media, our website, blog, Twitter, etc. with those. And now, I mentioned at the beginning about a special announcement. Well, back in November, during the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, we announced a $1.3 million capital campaign to raise funds for multiple projects through our Small College Basketball Foundation. Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to announce that we've now raised the funds to begin the construction on the tribute to small college basketball at Hy-Vee Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. We're very grateful to those that have contributed. We expect to begin construction in the coming weeks, and this will be a really special project for small college basketball at the college basketball levels. Those of you that are watching live are able to see some of the renderings now that we're putting up on the screen. But I want to tell you a little bit about this. The tribute to small college basketball will be a physical structure that will be built within the Hy-Vee Arena, which was formerly known as the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. It'll be a unique, first and only of its kind, physical structure that will use advanced technology to pay tribute to and preserve the history of the game of basketball at the small college levels. Through the use of video, sound, light, and advanced technology, we'll pay tribute to our Hall of Fame inductees, our national award winners, our national champions, our 1,000-win club, which is pretty small, and we've got one of them here with us this evening, along with Coach Holmquist, Danny Miles, and Herb McGee. We'll also include a historical timeline on the history of basketball at the small college levels, as well as a few physical items as well. We'll flash back to some of the great moments and great highlights through video, light, photos. The content within the tribute to small college basketball will be updated on a regular basis. The renderings of the tribute to small college basketball were created by Sloggy Architects, and it will be built by 3Axis here in Kansas City. We have a multi-year agreement with the Hy-Vee Arena to place it within their historic arena. Visiting the tribute to small college basketball shall be free and open to the public. And we expect literally tens of thousands of visitors to visit on an annual basis. This physical structure will be a very visible public way to tell our story and preserve our history. And now I must tell you that we have the funds to build this. But we want to continue to update this year after year. We want to continue to enhance it year after year. And that is one of the first elements of the capital campaign that will be completed. We want to add a couple new awards. We want to create the documentary. We want to preserve our history. We want to sustain small college basketball. So now's the time when I beg you, right? Help us through the foundation. We need to keep this thing rolling. We're getting there. We are so proud and so excited to be able to begin construction on something unique, something special, something, frankly, that's never been done before. That's what's fun about this. I read the bottom of Dr. Poteet's emails all the time. The things that have never been done, those are the things to do. We're going to do something that's never been done. We need your help to continue it, to update it for years and years to come, and to build out the rest of our capital campaign. So in closing this evening, I sincerely congratulate all of our national championship teams and coaches, our national award winners, and those that we recognize tonight. I want to thank all of you that took the time to be with us tonight. I encourage you to continue to follow along with small college basketball through our website, our social media outlets, our Hall of Fame, our events, awards, Alumni Association, and the Small College Basketball Foundation. Thank you, and good night. All right. shake your hand. I snuck my hand in there. Yeah. Oh, one other quick thing. One quick thing before we head out. I mentioned Christine ended up getting some cookies. Please eat them. We just bought them for the sake of actually eating them. Please, there's food left. Please eat that. Roughly 5 minutes, I'll be out and open up a tab. But we have the media backdrop. Anybody who got an award, our hope is to be able to take a few photos with our award winners back here. And anybody else who wants a photo with Coach Ritter, Coach Statham, Coach Lamar, Coach Holly, etc. I guess I didn't ask him about